Disney World requires a lot of walking. It's a marathon, and anybody who's been there knows that. As seniors, 80 and almost 70, Stanley and I wondered, could we still do this? Hi everybody, this is Sue Johnston here, and we are back home from our trip to Disney World, and this is not about camping, this is about our trip to Disney World, but it can be also including living in small spaces, and how do you manage that? So stay tuned, let me know what you think, and we will be doing a video together to talk about the response that we had to our two seniors camping video, which was amazing. We traveled as a couple celebrating 26 years of marriage. Yep, second time round for us. Second time was the charm. We flew from Toronto to Orlando, arrived at the All-Star Music Resort, and were upgraded to a premium room facing the pool, which was an amazing surprise for us. We were also celebrating my 69th birthday, so a lot of times I am in Florida for my birthday. Anybody who's been to Disney World knows that there are 4 parks. We started with Epcot, which happened to have the Food and Wine Festival going on while we were there. In the evening, when we got back to our room, I noticed a bag on the counter. There was a lovely surprise and congratulations for us. Here's a view of our small space. So basically, we got a king bed, which was an upgrade. That was lovely. But basically, it's a one-room compartment that happens to have a table and chairs and a refrigerator, so we have a place to store cold items. And of course, there's the coffee and tea, usual fare that you would find in a hotel room. We shared the space well. One closet. I thought it's interesting that we could manage so well with just one closet and 3 drawers. Stanley took the top drawer, and of course, being a woman, I had to have 2 drawers. We did have some extra space in a cabinet which was beside the drawers. That cabinet held the safe, and we just kind of used the cupboards for storing extra things that we brought along. Like I brought along a collapsible cooler in case we needed to keep something cold. There was also another drawer in the cabinet that is above the refrigerator, and the fridge actually is quite a good size. We order food from Garden Grocer, and they deliver it on the day that we arrive. We opted out for housekeeping every other day because I didn't think it was necessary for every day. So the girls did a great job. The staff member, or as you call them, cast members, you don't call them that, Disney calls them that. The cast members are really great at making sure that you have a really fun time, and they do not accept gifts or tips. Now nature, she provided her own sense of fun by saying maybe Hurricane Idalia could come by. So for a while there was a bit of a threat, and Disney let all the patrons know that they were on top of it and monitoring the weather and current conditions. But as it turned out, all we got was a bit of a tropical storm. It rained one day, which meant you could still go out and do things. Disney left the pool open, which surprised me, and they didn't close any of the parks. We'll share more about this later on. The resort has all kinds of activities, and we were surprised to see that they had a marshmallow roasting, making s'mores evening. That was fun, which we both partake. We decided to partake. They also have a pool table, a giant-sized chessboard and checkers. They have a ping pong table, and then they have a lot of other activities that they bring about during the day for kids or young adults or seniors who still have a kid in them. You know, wherever we go, Stanley has a way of making people feel good. I like that about him. For my birthday this year, August 31st, I usually go to Magic Kingdom, but this year I felt like going to Animal Kingdom because there is so much foliage, so many gardens to enjoy, trees and ferns, and it's really about nature and the conservation of nature and the preservation of nature, not only the things that grow, but the animals. This tree is called the Tree of Life, and the whole thing has all these carvings of all these animals from around the world and sea creatures. It is an amazing tree just to view. Inside the tree, they have a show called It's a Bug's Life. On the outside, they have a show with macaws, and that's always fun to watch. Last year at Christmas when we were there, one of the macaws just swooped right on my hair. It was really kind of fun. Animal Kingdom have a lot of walking trails, and one of them takes you through a bird sanctuary where they have 30 different species of birds. Now, I couldn't identify them. There was a lady there who told me that there's an app, and what you do with that bird app is you record the sound of the bird, and then it will bring up a picture and tell you all about the bird, what kind it is, and its natural habitat, and what it's like. So I didn't download that app, but that would be a fun one to have if you're walking through the bird sanctuary. When you go to Animal Kingdom, if you go to the very back of the park through Africa, you can get on a safari, which shows you a whole bunch of animals, birds, wild beasts, and if you go early enough, as we did, I think we were there by 8 o'clock in the morning, a lot of the animals show up because they're being fed at that time, and so you can see them grazing. One of our favorite places to have lunch is over in the Asian area, and they have this lovely gardens and quiet pool and a lot of egrets. Now, most of the egrets there are small, but there is a large one with a very large beak, long beak actually, and if you're not careful, he will swoop in and take the food right off to your table. This is him. And Stanley, for some reason, has nicknamed him Nigel. I'm not sure why. Could be the British part in him. Nigel's quite a bird. Our next favorite place is over in Pandora. This is a recreation of some of the land that was in the movie Avatar. Now I know there's a second release of Avatar. James Cameron, who's a Canadian, was the guy who came up with this story. He's actually the same guy who did the Titanic movie. What a lucky guy. Lucky? No. He's using his skills and abilities to create something wonderful for us all to enjoy. And he's a guy, fortunately for him, who has hit upon one success after the other. So he was actually involved in the recreation of this Pandora. Recreation? Creating Pandora in Disney World. So this again is in Animal Kingdom, and it's got a really great Avatar ride where you go on the back of a banshee. But first they have to make you into an avatar, mold your mind with the avatar, and then they put you on the back of a banshee and you actually fly on the banshee through Pandora. And that is an amazing experience. I'll share a little more of that as we go along. Disney does well at telling stories. He knew that people like and resonate with the story. And so whenever you walk through all the corridors of a ride, you're actually viewing all these things that help you anticipate the story and the end result, which is a ride, of course, but it's about the story as you're going along. So this keeps a lineup from being boring. So these pictures here are the laboratories supposedly in Pandora where they're studying the avatar, how to make the avatar. They're studying the biology of the planet and how to prevent erosion and encourage the growth and fixing, I guess, of the countryside, because like everybody, there are natural predators. So what you're viewing here is the initial walk into the big, huge Avatar mountain, I guess you would call it. They had these floating mountains. So this is pretty dark and there's not too much story to tell at this point, but you're supposedly getting a feel of what Pandora is like as a world. And this is the nighttime part. And as you're walking through, you're hearing all these little critters and things going off. Finally, you reach the launching stage where you get up into the corridor, you get into your avatar unit. It's where you supposedly get matched with your avatar so that you can actually ride a banshee. Apparently the banshees are happy and pleasant and non-threatening to native Pandorian people. The Navi, that's what they call them.
Great. Welcome to the Avatar program. Soon, you're going to have a chance to undertake an amazing Navi rite of passage, flying on the back of this powerful animal called an Ikron, or as we call it, a banshee. The way you're going to do this is by being matched to something called an avatar. And I'm here to help you guys get ready. But first, we have to scan you for Pandoran microparasites. Alright everyone, stay on your number and move your arms a bit. Okay, start scan. You've all got them. But don't worry, they're very common around these parts. Let's start the decon.
Initiating GMR decon.
Stand still over your number, you're not going to feel a thing. You're doing great. Almost done here.
They're all clear.
Great. Avatars, which look a lot like the Navi. They're created by blending human DNA and Navi DNA. Once we match you to an avatar, thanks to a special link chair, your mind will be able to control that avatar. Using avatars to fly this way was all figured out by my boss, Dr. Jackie Ogden. She leads our science team, which is part of the Pandora Conservation Initiative. That's why you're linking to an avatar. Okay, to get you flying on a banshee, we need to find each of you an avatar. Let's prep the genetic sampling.
I'm on it.
Okay, first we need to find a compatible match of your genetic material with the genetic material of one of the avatar bodies that we already have. Once we do that, you'll be able to link to that avatar and fly. Help us out and move around a bit. Almost. Yes, got him. Now, let's find you your avatar matches.
I wasn't able to record the flight. You really have to go and experience that yourself. A fun surprise was that one of my favorite Christian bands was there called Mercy Me, and they had a concert, and we were able to grab a meal. This was at Epcot during the Food and Wine Festival, and we sat down and listened to the concert while we ate our dinner. This is in the American Pavilion section in the World Showcase in Epcot, and they always have shows running, at least 3 in the day.
It would be like when I walk by your side. I can only imagine.
I'm not sure YouTube copyright laws would let me include the audio for this part of the video. So unfortunately, the sound won't be up. But you can kind of get an idea, and if you're really interested, go on, search on YouTube, get one of Mercy Me's videos, listen to the song, let me know what you think. I think anyone who's ever heard of Disney World, Disneyland, any of the parks that are around the world, you can always imagine that there's going to be fireworks. Fireworks at the Magic Kingdom, fireworks in Epcot. I don't think there's any fireworks at Animal Kingdom, but sometimes some evenings they do have light shows and so forth that go on. That's when they extend the hours at Animal Kingdom. It usually closes at about 7 o'clock. But the rest of the time, there's amazing fireworks, and they keep changing them. Back to the Magic Kingdom, the most attended park of all the parks. Here we are out in front of my granddaughter's favorite ride, the Slinky Dog, and the Breathing Dragon at one of the parades. They have a parade every day about 12 and 3 o'clock. They used to have a lighted nighttime parade, but they moved that one over to California. And I guess we have to share. But Stanley and I took a lunch into the park. I know where all the rocking chairs, are in the park. And we found two, ate our lunch, and watched the parade go by. That was another fun experience for us. Maybe it's not fun for everybody, not your cup of tea, but we surely enjoyed it. Our whole thing is, because we're seniors, you want to be able to pace yourself out as you're going along. For everybody who attends these parks, your feet get sore. And we had 10 days at the resort and a 7-day park hopper pass. That means we could attend Magic Kingdom in the morning, and then in the afternoon we could go to Epcot or switch it around any way that we want. But the idea is to pace it out, not to do a marathon. Even though you will actually be doing a bit of a physical marathon as you go along. For me, I think it's the excitement of what we're going to see and what we're going to share, and sometimes the surprise elements that happen as you're visiting a park. Maybe the surprise entertainment that's going on. It's not all old hat. You know, I've seen the Disney parade so many times, so we just switch it up and do it a little bit differently. Bottom line, just go and enjoy yourself. So Stanley, you're on day 10 of 10 vacation. What is it like to live in a small space?
Well, it depends really who you're with. If you're with someone, in this case my wife, and we get along well, we have a lot of the same joys, and sometimes we share the same sadness, but mostly we get along. We get along in the kitchen. Susie does the cooking, and I sit and put my feet up on the stool.
Stanley, tell me what it was like to be in a Walt Disney Resort, in this instance, the All-Star Music, and a hurricane is coming.
Well, hurricanes themselves are kind of scary because you're not sure exactly where it's going to land. The vortex could come right down the center of your life and cause all kinds of havoc, or it could skim by. In this case, the Hurricane Adelia skimmed by Orlando on the west side and then went over top of Florida and shot on through to Georgia.
And North
and they
Carolina.
got pounded. And so did North and South Carolina. So asking about hurricanes, you can't sit and say, well, we know what it's going to do. So I would suggest that if you're ever in a hurricane in a small space, just talk a lot to each other and have a word of prayer, whether you're Christian or not, because there's somebody bigger than us that can control hurricanes. That certainly isn't us. And then relax. Put your feet up. And that's all we had with Adelia was about a days of fairly heavy rain. But we had peace, and it was great. It was almost like a storm that lasts longer. So living in that kind of a space, play games, which I don't do.
And I remember we saw these massage chairs, and you and I tried out a massage chair, which you said that was your courtesy, like your treat to me.
Yeah.
Which was sweet.
Yeah, that was very cool.
Except that you couldn't lean back in the chair.
Oh, that one. Yeah, because it thumped to me. It pounded on your back. It wasn't just. When I think of a massage, I think of thumbs and forefingers and just massaging up and down. But there they use a sledgehammer to come in and whack you. But anyway, you find things to do that are fun for both of you, and of course then there's a serious side where people have lost their homes.
Yeah.
And the storm has blown their home over, or the storm has wrecked their town. Like these fires we've been hearing about north. It devastates your life. In that case, you are locked into seeking help from the divine, and as much as people around can give.
And on that day, we made the best of it that we could. We didn't do a park because it didn't seem to make any sense to go to a park. But we did take the monorail and go over to the Grand Floridian Resort, and we saw the fella playing the piano. So there was entertainment there.
There's a grand piano, and he's a skilled musician. Yeah, he was a class act. All part of living in a small space. What you do is once in a while you get out of the small space.
Yeah.
And you can begin to enjoy other things. Small space really is for eating and sleeping, and well, you kind of enjoy it, but you have to go beyond your small space.
That's true.
So staying here at this resort, and Disney resorts are good, even in the lower end. The lower end are still reasonable and clean and nice. And you can get out. If a hurricane comes through, unless it's going to mow you down, you can get out, enjoy yourself. And, sorry, I was going to say something I better not say. Anyway, life is not over because you're in a small space. Life can be really enjoyable, especially when you got your babe. Oh, what a difference it makes to have your babe. See, lovely.
What were you going to say that you weren't going to say?
Oh yeah. Enjoy yourself. Drink 5 for 50 ale. But I didn't want to push that.
Well, we didn't do too much of that anyway. We always limit ourselves anyhow.
I know, but people don't know that. I'm just. I don't know. Some people would laugh at that. Some people would get a frown. So you try to be discreet. So you don't drink 5 for 50 ale. You drink Yingling.
Isn't 5 for 50 ale a Canadian beer?
It's an old Labatt's.
It's Canadian?
They used to run, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Just thought I'd let you know. Stanley's drinking juice. And this is the end. Thanks for watching. I so appreciate people's comments, and I love reading them and even being able to respond to some of them. So go ahead and comment. And you know what's really neat is people share new ideas. So thank you very much. Happy times, people.